Steadily the best.
Hello viewers, welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji, and it is that program that gives you and I opportunity to talk about some of the trending issues in the country and how it affects us as citizens. So today we're going to be talking about the withdrawal of police personnel from very important personalities in the country and how it's going to be affecting us as individuals, or better still, how it's going to impact us as citizens. And then again, the debates on legalizing gun ownership. So let's go talk to some persons and hear what they have to say in regards to this topic. It is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji.
The Nigeria security architecture, I think it is a very, very wrong approach at this time. The way you talk about developed countries and thinking of how police operate, the environments are not the same. First, we do not have good roads. That when you call for police in an emergency response, if it's like in the developed countries, you see police appearing within minutes. You hear of cases of assassinations in places like America. It's only a matter of days they will find the killers of those people. Those are not the situations in Nigeria. People kidnap people in their houses, people kill people on the way, they don't even know who the killers are. The only thing too that also makes some of these people not to be on the road is the simple reason that when they know that there are escorts following some VIPs and some people on the way, they know that it's possible that at some point they will see unexpected police presence. But when they now get to the point where they now say, no, they cannot go with police and then the road is free and all that, you are only inviting terror back to us. If I'm traveling on the way and I know I'm licensed to have a gun in my car, some other persons are coming, and maybe we run into hoodlums, and they know that out of these 20 cars, there's a likelihood that 15 to 16 have arms in them. That will also create that sense of security for the people that are involved. So I just think that it is, yes, the idea to say let's have police at different points is there, but the architecture and infrastructure to support such an idea, we don't have it yet. You don't have drones flying everywhere. If you are overseas, you press a button in your house, they know it is emergency. The police will come, condone off your area, and the people cannot even escape. The police right now, as they are, first, there are no vehicles, they are not well equipped, so how do you even do it? I think that the decision by Mr. President needs to be reviewed.
I see it as a right development based on this issue that the President has made concerning police should be withdrawn from notable personalities that are in our society. You discover that for the police to be able to combat insecurity, we have less police in the society. Most of all these notable personality, you just discover that one person will be having 10 police. 10 police. If one particular person is having a police, about 10 attached to him, and the common man has no security to be attached to him, he has no security to be attached to him, then what is the fate of the masses? But to my own take, with this direction, this step that the President has taken, that all police official, army and the officials should be withdrawn from notable personality is a welcome development, so that these officers will be able to go to the city, go to the street, go to the rural area to be able to combat these bandits. Because if all this caliber of men, notable personality, are be giving policemen policemen are attached to them, it will not be a wake-up development. But if they withdraw them, everyone, all hands will now be on deck to fight insurgency, to fight bandits. But when these men are secured, they will feel less concerned about the masses. I believe that with this step that the president has taken is a very good step, so that security for lives and property concerning the common man will be appreciated. On these aspects, it has advantage and it also have disadvantage. It is good for people to have self-defense against this insecurity. But the other way around, when every man is given that license to get a gun or harm himself against attack, sometimes most people will not use it for self-protection, but rather they will begin to use it for destructive activities, like going into using it to embark on armed robbery and different. If somebody offends somebody, he can just bring out his gun and do killing. That is why it will not be encouraged. But the only advantage for the government is that let them employ more hands. Let them get more securities, people, recruit them, train them, tell them what to do, the rules and the dons that will govern their security apparatus. All these things should be put in place. Then with more and being employed and well paid, I believe that with all this, they can be able to contain this insurgency and bandits in our country.
We all know that the constitutional role of the police is the protection of lives and property. And like the president has rightly stated, the protection of lives of Nigerians are very paramount. And like the VIPs are still part of the citizens that the police is constitutionally empowered to protect. But you also realize from where the president is coming from, these VIPs form more or less like less than 10% of the larger population of Nigerians. And in that light, he feels that more attention should be given to the masses, to the larger population of Nigeria who are now faced with the challenges of insecurity, while also trying to address the manpower need of the Nigerian police. So in that regard, I totally support that directives that all available manpower now should be channeled towards the protection of the majority of Nigerians outside the VIPs that took a chunk of that number. Looking at on the rights of Nigerians to own guns, I still believe that Nigeria is not yet ripe enough for such. Even countries where they have such policies, they are trying to go back. If you see what is going on in America now, they are even trying to look at gun rights laws to see how it can be reviewed. So it's not a policy that has worked or that has been sustained in even where it is currently in force. So for Nigeria, it is not just our only gun that will solve the problem of insecurity. I can tell you, with the kind of anger, with the kind of issues we have now, if Nigerians own guns, they will be using it to settle personal scores, not even the insecurities now. So that might not really solve the problem. I think solving the problem, we need to go into community policing, volunteer security, seeing how well we can domesticate security, make security the duty of everybody, not necessarily a centralized arm of government like you have the centralized police now. So with that, I believe we can substantially bring down, if not to a barest minimum, the current challenges we have now. So it's not really whether we carry guns or not that would solve it, no.
It is a very good thing that the president is actually looking at how he can, curb security by having a lot of, security personnel on ground. But, if you have to fight insecurity by creating another level of insecurity, that's a very big problem, all right? Yes, we know that the VIPs have a lot of this, security escort with them. But if you look at this person too, they are human beings. And, somebody who has that kind of, level of position requires some level of security, around him. So for me, I will not, totally say that it is okay to withdraw all the, security personnel from the VIP. No, I do not think that's the best way to go. Instead, I think they should look for a way to have more persons in the force, in the military, in the police, and every other security agencies that can help, in this insecurity. Because the VIP are human beings. The right to own a gun, I really do not think that Nigeria is matured for such a thing. Yes, we have that in some developed countries like America, but I do not, advise that such law should be put here in Nigeria, because a lot of persons are going to take advantage of this particular, situation, and they use it to do other very, very, malicious activities. So I do not believe that Nigeria is ripe for, self-ownership of gun at this particular point in time.
Insecurity in Nigeria has eaten so deep into the life and well-being of Nigerians. Like in the area of business, it has affected us a lot. Like, for example, those our mothers who travel to village markets in this season of December, where they travel to buy plantain, yams, and others. We see many of them were unable to do this because of the insecurity. And that has also affected their own family, because they will not be able to provide for them because they were unable to do their business the way it ought to be. Like those of us in the real estate sectors, I think it affected us the more, because this is one of the most funny December I've ever experienced, whereby our brothers and sisters in diaspora, they are scared to return home to celebrate with us. And after they have saved this money, and they buy property at the end of the year, so that at least they will not count on one thing that they have achieved. But this time, many of them, they give up. Instead of coming to Edo State or or Nigeria to buy property, you will hear them saying that they want to go to places like Singapore, places like Spain. They will tell you the money they will use to buy property in Abuja, like maybe 350 million, 150 million, 200 million, is enough for them to get property in Spain. And that property in Spain will give them high return of investment than the property in Nigeria. And another thing that affected those in diaspora and the VIPs, let me use that word, very important personalities in our country, is the new law that has been passed by the president, that police personnel should be withdrawn from this set of persons. And the current situation of insecurity in Nigeria, so these persons, they will not be free to come in, because it's as if them coming in, they have signed their death sentence because the security is a threat to them. And at the same time, the police personnel that would have been of assistance to them to guide them is being withdrawn. So it's just as if they want to jump into a hot fry pan. So these ones is what stopped them from not coming to Nigeria, and it affected our business a lot. So those persons we are all to care for, these things restrict us to do a lot for our loved ones. Because if you don't sell property to get money, so there's no way you are going to spend money. So if you check, though we are having traffic and all these around, but the truth is that the well-being, the lifestyle of these our citizens is being compromised because insecurity has cost them a lot. If the guns is being legalized to every citizen, it's going to cause more havoc at this initial stage. So I believe instead of legalizing gun to individuals, let's recruit more local security personnel that understand this terrain of this environment, because a stranger will not know my community more than me. So if they empower these personnel, give them good sophisticated weapon that they can use to withstand these perpetrators, the criminals, it will be able to at least help us a lot. So owning a gun or legalizing gun to Nigerians, Africans, there's a way we think. Even some of the trained policemen that they are handling weapons, we see what happens after some of them have taken what they are not supposed to take. After when their adrenaline get high, when they are angry, we see how they misuse the gun. So now legalizing gun for a trained person, a civilian, is going to cause more havoc and disaster to us. So I'm not in support of that.
While the opinions of our respondent varies, and some think that the statement by the president to withdraw police personnel from VIPs in the country in order to combat crime, some are also saying that it is not a welcome development. But in all of this, the security of citizens and properties should be a priority. That is what people are clamoring for, and it is something that should be done in order for lives and property of citizens to be secured and for security to be guaranteed. It is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. Many thanks for watching.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we are seeing on the stage is the Toro Cultural Theatre. On the other side, we have the gymnastic boys. Gymnastic boys, you don't know what we want to do now. We are bringing upstairs. We are at the first floor. We don't know if we are going to do the second floor. Always.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
To have you join us today on the program, Healthy Living. I'm Adesuwa Osa Uwage, and what we're wishing you in this 2026 is a healthy life. For you to be healthy, and for you to know exactly when to go to the hospital to take care of yourself. So today we want to concentrate on the children, and we're going to conclude what we started last week, or should I say what we started last year? All right, we're concluding today on rubella and measles immunization, how important this vaccine is to your child and even you as a mother. And so our doctors are in the house, and I want to introduce them again. on their names, let's refresh our memory. So join me as I make welcome Professor Ayebo Sado. She's the Director, Institute of Child Health, University of Benin. She's also a consultant pediatrician, Department of Child Health, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, and Chairperson, Pediatric Association of Nigeria. Is a big one. Madam, a pleasure to have you join us today.
Good afternoon, viewers, and Happy New Year.
Happy to have you join us, Doctor. So,
thank you.
I also want to introduce to you Dr. Chinelo Nebe. She's the Registrar, Department of Public Health and Community Medicine, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, and she is also the coordinator M1 at Young Doctors Forum and coordinator M1 at Edo State. So, Doctor, nice to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and last but not the least on our list, we have Dr. Queen Odikemere. I got that today. I've been practicing. Okay, Dr. Queen Odikemere is a senior registrar, Department of Public Health and Community Medicine, and M1 coordinator, Department of Public Health and Community Medicine, University of Benin Teaching Hospital. So all three of them are from UBGH. Hello, doctors. A pleasure to have you join us today. So let me start with Dr. Sado. We're talking about rubella and measles immunization. Can you just refresh our memory again on the need for this injection?
Right. Thank you very much. So we said the last time that measles is caused by measles virus, yes. And we are more familiar with that. And measles is a terrible illness for children. It kills, and the symptoms usually will be that the child would have fever, cough, catarrh, and red eyes, and then the rash comes on, and child is ill for about a week, and then the rash subsides and disappears. But as it's disappearing, the skin is peeling. So for several months afterwards, we still see the evidence of measles in that child. So that is what I've just described is mild measles, but there can be complications. So the child can have pneumonia, can have meningitis, can have meningoencephalitis, can have diarrhea, and if the child is malnourished, and many of our children are malnourished these days, the economy is not very friendly, they can have all of these complications. And even after they have recovered, for up to a year afterwards, they have excess mortality. So that is measles. Okay. Now for rubella is somewhat similar. It's caused by a virus. So when it affects older children, adults, you have the same fever, but the fever is not as high as measles. Then they may have red eyes, some fever, then they rash. Rubella is also called 3 days measles. It's also known as German measles because of the people who first described it. But the 3 days measles, just when you're looking at a child's face and saying, are you planning to have measles or something like that, the rash is disappearing. So it takes about 3 days and it has completely disappeared and doesn't leave any telltale signs like measles. But why are we worried about rubella? When a pregnant woman gets exposed to rubella, that is where the problem is. Okay. That is disaster in waiting.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Chinelo now. How does a pregnant woman contact rubella?
A pregnant woman to contact rubella to start with, most especially it occurs when the pregnant woman is not immunized. So immunization plays a vital role.
Not immunized an adult.
Because one thing about measles and rubella is that it can provide a lifelong immunity. Okay. That's one of the fantastic results that comes with the vaccination. So when the pregnant woman is not immunized, obviously she's predisposed to contracting the virus. Do you understand? Now, one vital thing about it is that the period of the pregnancy determines the fate of the offspring. Do you understand? So for the first trimester, usually when the pregnant woman contacts the virus, it could lead to miscarriage. Obviously, as simple as that. The woman gets lost, there's loss of pregnancy. Then for the second trimester, it will come from other genetic defects that can also result to issues like congenital heart disease, sensorineural losses, maybe also sight. It can affect the sight of the baby. So when the baby is born, you see that the baby is deformed from birth. So that's one of the vital things. And also because it provides a lifelong immunity, what it also entails that the mother tends to also transfer some of the immunoglobulin, or should I say, form of protection to the baby passively after birth. So the baby is protected for some period before we talk about backing up with vaccinations. So it's kind of not just the mother, but also the baby. So we are not just preventing something like mortality. Yes. We are more morbidity. At this particular place, now we are talking about infant mortality, neonatal mortality. So it protects them before we now reinforce with vaccination. So you see the role this vaccination does, just not just only to the mother.
Don't worry. You have to tell us the importance.
Now, how does a pregnant woman knows that she has contacted
because some may just say that he going by what professor described.
Some may just say
and all of that, and they just play over it, and that is that, knowing fully well the kind of mentality most of us have towards assessing medical care.
Yeah. You see, that's the main thing. For a woman to know she has contracted it, just like my senior colleague mentioned earlier, it's something that goes for a short period of time. Sadly, the woman may have these rashes. The woman may have these rashes, but she won't be able to pinpoint that this is rubella because of the shortened duration. Yes, may have a generalized body rash with fever, mild fever, and she may take it for malaria or weather. Itching. Yes, it may come with itching or it could come with bacterial rashes, they say. But they're thinking of rubella because about sensitizing the woman, knowing that this could be, and also depending on the season. Because mostly measles and rubella, they usually come during the hot season. So it's kind of interfere with the symptoms. Can interfere with
the weather. One would think is heat rash and all of that.
Yes, so much. So sadly, it could affect that.
Okay, Dr. Quaye, when Prof was talking
about the fact that measles can kill.
At what point does measles really kill? Because a lot of us trivialize this ailments. At what point does measles kill?
Most times, children that are under 5, that's within the age of 1 to 5 and less than, they are still trying to build up their immunity from the breast milk and then from the supplementary feeds they get. So most times when this infection or they come in contact with this virus and then there are less supports, like in terms of feeding, they are malnourished or their immunity is down. When this virus gets tend to contact this virus with this low immunity, and then in terms of our feeds, nutrients, they help us sustain us, makes us stronger and all that. But when we are lacking, when these children are lacking in all these things, this can lead to deaths. It can lead to form of deformity. So within, a child is vulnerable to its complications and to its mortality, especially within the age of 1 to 5 years. That's children less than 5 to or less than 5 years. So it's very important that we take care of these children at this age so that they don't tend to have the complications. Yes, death may happen, but most times when you don't take the appropriate measures in terms of ensuring that they feed adequately, for those who are breastfeeding, ensure that they are exclusively breastfed about to 6 months. If this thing is not being done, maybe in terms of the mother is not able to do that either financially or maybe working and is unable to carry out these processes, this child is vulnerable to having complications of that are associated with measles, even up to death. So that's why it's very important.
Okay, all right. It's that time for us to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll ask Prof and the other doctors some questions and get answers definitely. So a woman that did not take immunization at birth or vaccination at birth may come back and not even know it. Is it impossible to take as an adult
Yes, there's no age discrimination when it comes to vaccination against these diseases, measles or rubella.
But would it be effective?
It's true. But one thing we have to put in notice that also because we are in a community where measles and rubella is endemic in our setting. So what it does that there are sometimes there are natural strain that we could get by virtue of communication. So the body tends to build up the immune system against it. So luckily, the person may be, by virtue of natural strain, lucky to get it. So we can go to, but before then, if the person is concerned, perhaps I need to vaccinate myself. We can carry out some laboratory investigation to confirm the immune status of the person in regards to that, whether this person will go ahead and have this vaccination or not. However, there are some situations we have to take note of as an adult when it comes to vaccination against rubella, and this because it's a life attenuated vaccine. So remember, it's contraindicated in pregnant women.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
so
serious,
yes, you don't want because pregnancy on its own alters the immune status to an extent, and a lot is happening. Remember, so the woman is not just about her; it's also for the baby. So you don't want to introduce the vaccine to the woman, and and you go ahead attacking the baby. So that will lead to maybe miscarriage or congenital deformity, which could lead to triads of signs and symptoms that the outcome will not be favorable. So because that's what you're trying to prevent. So that will have to take note of it. And also the immune status of the person is also vital. If the person is maybe something like HIV positive or is taking some medications that kind of repress the immune system, the person will not go ahead and have this vaccination.
That's why you doctors are there.
We now have rubella and measles vaccine as one. Please tell me why.
Okay,
and the importance of this.
All right, so we have basically described what measles can do. Can kill, so and spend a lot of money to treat a child who has measles. Then, if a child has congenital rubella, it costs between $4,000, $400,000 and $100,000 to treat one child who has congenital rubella syndrome. So we are saying a child who is blind, a child who is deaf, a child who has a hole in the heart, and who is possibly mentally retarded. So
we're not sure if that child is going to be well, if that child is going to be
so it costs a lot to treat. So prevention is better than cure.
Please tell us more about this prevention.
So to prevent both measles and rubella, the best is vaccination. And so before now, we're giving measles vaccine. And that just prevents only measles.
I think we take measles for our children twice.
Yes, at 9 months and at 15 months. And I can tell you that that has been effective. So in the year 2000, there were 11 million cases of measles in Africa.
Wow.
But as at 2023, this was down to 4 million.
Okay.
What made the difference? Vaccination. In Nigeria, we are improving, but we are not yet there. So in 2025...
When you go to hospitals, you see a lot of women queuing up to get vaccines for their children.
Yes, but we are not yet there. So we had like 26,000 cases, suspected cases, and 77% of them did not receive any vaccine. So those who have measles is among those who did not take the vaccine.
Tell us the reason why they should collect this vaccine.
So we have said the bad things that measles and rubella can do. Yes. So prevention is better than cure. So the government has provided a vaccine that can prevent both measles and rubella. One injection.
How many doses?
So in the campaign, it's going to be one dose that's going to be given to children aged 9 months to 14
what
years.
What if these children have taken vaccines before? Does it really matter?
No. So if
it doesn't matter
if you are a 9 month old, if you are a 9 month old, you probably have not taken, so you are just starting your vaccination. Okay. If let's say you are a 10-month old, you are getting your second dose.
Okay.
All right. So we're targeting
14 years.
9 months to 14 years. So that's a large cohort of children that we are protecting. If you are 14 years, 13 years, 12 years, you have taken one dose of measles before. So, or even 2 doses. But getting measles, rubella vaccine is not going to cause any problem.
These vaccines are mostly in government hospitals. People get it for free. But in private hospitals, they are not free. And with the strike from government hospitals, people will tend to go to private hospitals. So what is the hope for these persons? And what is the efficacy of these vaccines that they are going to get from
I can assure you,
private hospitals?
I can assure you that the vaccines that are in the public sector, they are the best.
That's public sector. What about private sector? You people will go on strike.
Okay.
You people are planning a strike now.
That's doctors. The nurses are working.
Some doctors are planning strikes now.
The doctors the nurses are working.
The PHCs.
And then the primary health care
centers.
Health centers.
So if parents go to family health centers now,
primary health centers.
Okay, if they go to any primary health center,
yes, within your local government,
yes,
get it
exactly,
for free.
Yes.
If they go today, they will get it.
Well, so that brings us to why we are here. The vaccine is going to be rolled out as from 20th of January in Edo State.
Okay.
In the northern states, that was done in October, so it's available in those states.
And
but
the vaccine is free.
It is free.
You will not go there and they will tell you buy cotton wool.
No.
Pay for consumables.
No, that's in private sector.
No, they
private
do that
sector.
in some primary health care centers.
They don't do that.
No, not for
it has already been paid
I'm
for.
telling you for sure that they do that in some primary health center. Maybe not for this, but bring something for cotton wool. We don't have cotton wool and we don't have. They call it consumables, Abi. So for this one, want to assure parents.
It might be okay. So let me tell you what is going to happen.
Yes.
So come 20th of January, they will start giving the measles rubella vaccine
free
of charge. They will go to schools, they will go to churches, they will go to mosques, they will go to marketplaces. Free for 10 days campaign.
Free for 10 days.
Free for 10 days.
Free for 10 days.
Then after that, it will become routine. We give it now at 9 months and at 15 months.
15 months, like
previously
incorporated.
So it is going to replace the former measles vaccines that we're giving.
So parents should not be scared.
They shouldn't be scared. So it is also going to be free.
Thank you.
When it gets to that point.
Okay, doctors, this is all we're going to do today. Time is not our friend. Dr. Queen, thank you. Dr. Chinelo, thank you. Prof,
one more thing. One more
Prof, time is up.
I know. But one more thing. Please. Now, for our 9-year-old girls, they will also offer HPV vaccine to prevent cervical cancer.
We'll come and talk about that HPV vaccine someday, because cervical cancer, for women to understand it, is very important.
Yes.
So find time to come and talk about
the vaccine is going to be given free of charge. So it's important during that 20th to 30th.
I care so much about our girl child. So the
9-year-old
HPV vaccine for 9-year-olds is free. And of course, the rubella and measles is also free.
9 months to 14 years.
Everything that you can do to protect our children, let's do it. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
All right.
ITV, certainly the best.
Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see when they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
Viewers, once more, we welcome you to Message of Islam, reaching you from Independent Television Benin. Today, inshallah, we want to look at the topic, condemnation of murder in Islam. Condemnation of the crime or the offense of murder in Islam. Inshallah, to take this topic, I have with me in the studio this evening. Close to me on my left is Ustaz Sani Abdul Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me, and assalamu alaikum viewers.
Alhamdulillah. And we also have in the studio this evening Professor Bunyamin Aidi Al-Aji. Professor Bunyamin Aidi. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers at home, peace be unto you all.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, we are looking at this topic, condemnation of murder in Islam. We are looking at any topic as far as Islam is concerned. We are looking at it in line with what submission to the will of God entails, because Islam radically means submission to the will of Almighty Allah. Let me start with you. Ustaz Sani Abdul Hafiz. What is murder? Let's start with the definition.
In the name of Allah, all praise is due to Allah. We ask for Allah's peace and blessings upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Murder, simply put, in the definition of Islam, is the taking of the life of another person for no just cause and without having the authority to do so. Taking the life of another person for no just cause and without the authority to do so. We have to put it this way because sometimes there are some kind of penalties that may involve having to take the life of another person. So such is not regarded as murder in Islam. For example, if somebody committed adultery and they have to be stoned to death, you don't call that murder. But stoning the person to death requires authority. So if you say somebody committed adultery and you say because we are Muslims, we cannot see an adulterer, and so we take up arms and lynch the person to death, we have committed murder because we have no authority to do so. So murder is to take the life of another person for no just cause and without authority to do so.
Alhamdulillah. I'm coming to you now, Prof. Now, what is the punishment for murder in Islam? One who has committed the offense of murder.
Of course, the definition of murder as far as Islam is concerned has been given by Malam Abdulhafiz Sani. In addition to what he just said, before I go to the punishment for murder, the issue of committing adultery, before you can even carry out the punishment, there must be witnesses. Witnesses to say at least two same men who will not lie. And it's not, adultery is not something that you commit in the presence of anyone. So even when the act had been carried out and the person just came out of the room with a towel or whatever, and it's at that point one of the witnesses see them, you don't have any right to now come out and say you think that is what they went inside to do. So before you even catch the person red-handed or the person's red-handed, it will be very, very difficult. And that is why most times it's left between you and your creator. Now, having said that, the punishment for murder, the moment...
The standard of proof in adultery is more than that.
Yes.
We are required to produce 4 eyewitnesses.
Thank you. 4 eyewitnesses. Yes, thank you. 4 eyewitnesses. Now, the punishment for murder is also that the life of the person that has committed it must be taken. And it will not be taken except the family of the person say, well, no problem. So there are 2 or 3 categories as mentioned in the Quran. The murder could be what the lawyers would call the manslaughter, if it is not intentional, just by mistake. And if it is intentional, someone intentionally takes the life of another person and it's established that the person did that intentionally. Such individual, once it's caught, you take the life of such person as well. So the Islam doesn't play with the life of an individual. Even when you say the life of the fetus, who you want to regard as not a full physical human being, Islam takes care of that. So as much as possible, even the life of animals, Islam takes care of that. Because in Islam doesn't allow you to take the life of an animal without you having any need for such animal. So much as we protect the lives of human beings, we protect the life of every living being.
Thank you very much. We are looking at the topic, condemnation of murder in Islam. In Islam, life is so sacred. It is Almighty Allah who created us and is the owner of all the life. In fact, you do not have the right to take your own life, take your own soul. You commit suicide, you go straight to the hellfire. We have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to all these things in Islam. If you commit suicide, in Islam, you go to the fire of hell. So Islam has zero tolerance for the offense of murder. Now, Ustaz Sani Abdulhafiz, I'm coming back to you again. Now, in a situation where we have Muslims whose lives are not governed by the Sharia law, which stipulates steep penalties for criminal offenses. What is your take on that?
As it relates to murder, when you don't have
we have issue
the
of
Sharia
corruption,
law,
even where you have laws of the land as regards a particular offense.
you know, the general rule, whenever the Sharia authority is not in place, more of a rule of alaykum anfusukum. That is, you are in charge of yourself. In charge of yourself to guard yourself and conduct yourself in a way and manner that you don't commit sins. You don't do whatever Allah has prohibited, including committing murder. It's a complex, scenario for a Muslim to actually live in, because there has to be law in place. There has to be the Sharia in place to bring everybody to book whenever they overstep the boundaries of Allah. But unfortunately, where you live in a place where the Sharia law is not in place, the second question will be, is there any law in place at all? If there is a law in place at all, then the law in place has to be followed to protect lives as it relates to murder. Nobody has a right to take the life of another person. The Islamic fights, so to say, that you had in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, at some point they have to be brought to a halt. Bringing them to a halt required coming into agreements, coming into some kind of treaties, some kind of terms of peace. Those terms of peace are, terms that all of us are committed to in order to see that we don't spill the blood of one another. So as long as those laws are in place, the Muslim is also binded by this law that you don't take the life of another person. This is actually how the ulama describe a state that has a constitution. Like Nigeria, for example. It has a constitution. The constitution represents the agreement between all parties that form the state called Nigeria. Whether they are traditionalists, they are Muslims, they are atheists, they are Christians, they are Jews, all of us are captured in this constitution. So that we are all binded by the law of respecting one another, protecting the life of one another, ensuring that there is always peace and there is no crisis.
Thank you very much.
Now,
Professor, I will come back to you again. We have some countries that have abolished death penalty. Condemnation of murder in Islam. The penalty for murder in Islam is you will be executed if you are found guilty of murder. What is your view on abolition of death penalty? When Almighty God that created us has made that law that whoever kills and is found guilty should be executed.
You see, there is no way we will not have problems in every society where we try to modify the natural laws that govern us, that govern every society. It's one of the ways through which people modify the natural laws. And wherever you have that, will not be far from crisis. Because, for instance, in Nigeria, assuming we still uphold that is, whoever takes the life of another person unjustly, such individuals should also be eliminated. If we abide with it, we'll not be running into series of crises that we have nowadays. We have so many examples of people that were kidnapped before ransoms were paid. Such individuals were eliminated. Even when ransoms have been paid, they still went ahead to kill them. Quite a number of times we have read that certain numbers of kidnappers, bandits, terrorists, or whatever, committing one heinous crime or another, were arrested. Later, we will still hear that they receive amnesty.
But Nigeria will not abolish death penalty.
I'm coming.
Now, much as we do not abolish death penalty, how many times have we in this country heard of someone that was condemned in any court of law to murder, and such persons were eventually executed, either publicly or privately in any secret places? We've not heard of that in the past 30 years. And that is why we keep, rigmaroling around a circle. Because right from the time kidnapping started some years back, if we had adopted that, right from the time the Ibtro banditry started, the terrorism started, all these forms of criminalities in our society, if we had adopted execution of anyone that was found guilty, after carrying out all the decent investigations and you confirm that this person actually did this, if you execute them, automatically nobody will want to venture into such things. But at the end of the day, you still find them on the street of on the streets of the town. Now, coming back really to other countries where they have abolished that, they try as much as possible to keep such individuals out of circulation. And what they believe is that, separating them from the society, not having any contact with anyone, is even worse than killing. You've heard of people that were confided or that are confided life imprisonment. In one room, they only give them maybe 1 hour of refreshment during the day or at night, depending on whatever the person chooses. Keeping the person solitarily in that kind of environment can be worse. And it can be likened to, al-fitna to ashadu min al-qatl. Keeping someone in permanent condition of tribulation may be worse than death sometimes. But whichever one we adopt in the country, as it is today, Nigeria cannot even be said to have adopted anyone. We are just floating, and that is why we have this mirage of crisis within us today.
Our law is very clear. We have the law stipulating death penalty for some offences. Another thing is the enforcement of the laws. I'm coming to you now, Ustaz Sani Abdul Hafiz. Now, is it permissible in Islam to, in the guise of jihad, perpetrate heinous crimes like murder?
No, it's never permitted
in
the laws of Islam.
What is jihad?
So,
jihad means killing the innocent?
Jihad is a struggle, by the literal translation. And this struggle can be in any form, which one of the forms is actual fighting. And the way to express it is to say that you are struggling to enforce Allah's law. You are trying to, live the life that Allah says you should live. Obey Allah's law. It's a continuous struggle. You are struggling with yourself. You are struggling with the forces. Then you now have it at a point in time where you have forces that feel that you should not even exist because you are a Muslim, that you shouldn't exist. So this is the point at which the Prophet ﷺ was told that you should fight back.
Is it part of jihad to be involved in banditry and terrorism?
Yeah, you asking the question that what's jihad? That's why we are trying to explain it. It's not. It's not. Banditry is not jihad. Terrorism is not jihad. Whatever other forms of crimes people committing, it's not jihad.
A police officer
no.
who is fighting against the armed robbers, is he not performing jihad?
He's performing a jihad because he is trying to, is struggling against disturbances to the society,
so whatever you
to
do,
the community. Everything you do to keep the community safe, peaceful, and progressing is a jihad. So it can be in any form. Now, coming back to the point of banditry, I feel actually very disturbed to even want to connect them at all. They are not in the same line. Because banditry is for some economic gain. We can put it that way.
Banditry is evil.
Yes, it's evil. It's for economic gain. Those who are into it, they know what they are out for. Even in jihad, you don't come to a place where people are just living and then you launch an attack on them because they are not Muslims. No, you don't do that. So when you say that some people are terrorists and then they go to a place of non-Muslim occupants in order to get everybody dead.
Or even Muslim occupants.
Okay, Muslim. No, normally when you want to talk about jihad, you want to talk about the non-Muslim. That's why you can't call it jihad. Because many of the time, Muslims are involved in what your so-called banditry, terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping. Muslims are involved. They pay the ransom. They lose the lives of their relatives. Mosques are destroyed. Worshippers are maimed. So how could you call it jihad? They are not close. They are not the same thing. So it's part of what the society need to be educated about. The Quran talks about jihad, but jihad is not banditry. It's not terrorism. It's not insurgency. It is not kidnapping. It is the Prophet ﷺ fought against Makkans. The Makkans was the home where he was born. He has been expelled from Makkah to Medina. And the people did not only expel him, they took arms to go face him in Medina to say, this man cannot continue to live. Whoever believes in him will be crushed. That was when Allah said, now,
Thank you very much. You are allowed to defend yourself, you defend your life. And so it is part of jihad to defend your life. Prophet said one tradition. That if a thief attacks you, you should fight him. And the companion asked, how about if he kills me because of the fight? Prophet says, you will go to paradise. He now said, how about if I kill him? Prophet says, if you kill him, he will go to the hellfire. So jihad is from the word jahada, to strive, to struggle. But it has to be a positive struggle. Striving in the cause of God. And God is good. And God is not evil. Saving a life is part of jihad. As a medical doctor, you are called and you left your home at midnight, rushing to the hospital to save the life of that accident victim. That is jihad. Jihad is to struggle, to strive in the cause of God. Nigeria has been declared or was declared as a country of particular concern. And we are also hearing allegations of Christian genocide. What is your take on that?
Well, of course, when you look at the word genocide as applied to what we have in Nigeria, it's not only our Christian brothers, sisters that one can say are the victims of genocide in Nigeria. Because look at the issue of kidnapping, the issue of terrorism, banditry that we mentioned earlier on. All these one cut across various tribes, various religions, even including those that don't proclaim either Christianity or Islam. The victims vary in terms of age, in terms of tribes, in terms of religion. So one cannot really say that it's only the Christians that are involved, except that we are trying to just heat up the polity. And where the danger is the fact that assuming the people we are calling from outside come here to come and assist us, fight others, there is no way we will not run into more problems. Because in areas where they had intervened in the past, there is no part of the country, part of the world where we have had intervention of these persons that we are calling, that they have stable society till today. Talk of Libya, talk of Somalia, talk of Syria, talk of even the Middle East. There is nowhere that is peaceful up to today. Now, if you say they should come, no bomb or bullet is labeled Christians or Muslims. If they drop any bomb anywhere, the devastation will not separate people based on religion or will not destroy people based on religion or tribes. So therefore, what we need to pray for and also strive for is there is a general problem, that there are general problems that we all have. The issue of hunger is there. The issue of mounting anger is there, which is necessitated by the situation we find ourselves in this country. So if someone is hungry, hunger as it is today doesn't differentiate between religions, doesn't differentiate between tribes. We are all hungry, we are all angry the same way. So we should not, based on the fact that certain persons are looking for favors outside the shores of Nigeria, then magnify the problem beyond what we will be able to bear when the consequences come. The consequences may be enormous. This country belongs to every one of us, whether we are Christians or we are Muslims or we are atheists, or we don't even believe in any existence of any God. This country belongs to us all, and we must defend it by our conduct, by our character, and by that band of humanity that
much.
all of us are together in this.
Thank you. Mr. Hassan Abdul Hafiz, what is the government expected to do? The duty of government is to protect life and property.
The government, among everything they have done, which is striving to see how much they protect life and properties, we can only say that more should be done. More should be done, and just as has been mentioned, that when criminals that are involved in these activities are arrested, they should be promptly dealt with according to the law. And when Allah mentioned about punishing the adulterer, let some of the people witness their punishment, so that it will be shown that the one who lost a life will know that the person that killed my person has been dealt with.
That will serve as deterrent to others. Thank you very much, viewers. We have been looking at the topic, condemnation of murder in Islam. Islam has zero tolerance for murder and for all criminal activities. In fact, Islam is very, very strict when it comes to punishment. You steal, your hand is amputated. You commit adultery, you are stoned to death, or you are given 100 strokes of the cane if you commit fornication, if you are not married. You commit murder, you are to be executed. You commit banditry, your hand and feet at alternate sides is to be cut off, and you can be banished from the land. Very severe punishment we have in Islam, the Sharia law. But when you have Muslims whose lives are not governed by the Sharia, then it becomes a matter of concern. Banditry, terrorism is not part of Islam. Jihad means struggle, to strive in the cause of God positively. And we should all try as much as possible to let all hands be on deck to make Nigeria and the world at large a peaceful place, especially as Muslims. Thanks for coming, Al-Aji Professor Bunyamin Ayede, and thanks for coming, Mr. Sani Abdul Hafiz, and your uncle, Al-Aji Al-Amin Alao. We have joined us again next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ITV, certainly the best.
the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbede Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawo Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in Okada town, the initiates, led by Chief Elder Ogbede Onwonse, visited the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawo Igbenedion, at his Okada country home residence to pay homage and appreciate him for all he has done in the development of the community, which has placed Okada in world map. They also thanked him for his role in the success of their ceremony. They commended the Esama of Benin as a custodian of Benin cultural heritage and for revitalizing the age-long tradition of the age-grade ceremony.
ITV, certainly the best.
It's sure always an exciting time to have you join us on the program Heritage with your sincerely Oluije Oikokai. Today on Heritage, we're going to a country that has about 2 million population, and that is Guinea-Bissau, to go see what they have for us today as far as culture and tradition is concerned. So you know what? Come along as we take a trip together to Guinea-Bissau to go see what they have for us on Heritage. Don't go nowhere. The festival in Guinea-Bissau is the popular annual festival in the country, known for its vibrant blend of traditional African culture and influence.
Máscaras. Depois de reina, não fica cuidando de fula. Na pede mais palmo, volta com palmo, coloca no encoraja. Salva de palma, tem a apresentação. Não fica cuidando de fula. Ndege bono ya manga de arte. Na dança de fula. Now, fula, mensagem que o Modivo pega a nós tudo guineense.
The event takes place annually in the capital city of Guinea-Bissau during the dry season, typically in the month of February or March, just before Lent. The carnival is a powerful display of national identity and unity, bringing together the nation, many diverse ethnic groups, including the Balanta, Fula, Mangoko, and Bajago people, to celebrate their unique costumes and traditions. The events feature parades along in the major streets, as well as people are seen dancing, drum beat renting the air, and thousands of participants in elaborate, well-dressed and colorful costumes to mark the celebration. The celebration is a fest combining a cheerful African spirit with lively influences of Portuguese and Brazilian cultural traditions.
Albano.
Vamos falar obrigado. Digo, não até primeiro grupo que não apresentando, está falando. Aí, Marco. Aí, Público. O Diago. O que é que me se mostrando? Netinia Pepe, ele está falando com o ora, como aqui. Na cara de você fazer o rego. Sana diferente manova. Se cabeça era diferente de Ambacus. Olha, ele quer almoçar. O homem tem que ser o rego. Segundo não tem. Se não quer almoçar para ser o rego. Então, ele consegui ver isso. Não tem simplesmente para ser o rego. O ver como conseguia vencer. Não está manifesta aqui a alegria. Rego morre. Que desachola. Que cerimônia. Então está mostrando biombo. Rego de biombo. E morre. Vem tornar a partir da região de biombo. E por bater só na região de biombo. Mas nível de Guiné-Bissau. Cansaré. Vou falar obrigado, Cansaré. Obrigado para representante do desfile nacional de Guiné-Bissau e para tudo que está presente. Gosto não vai ter balobeiros. Balobeiros.
Fosse uma cerimônia de números, lê. E por ser filho régolo, ouvir alguém como sobrinho, da polírio, para ser o régolo ou balomeiro, bem carmuça. Que o balomeiro, lembra como canseia malhado. Mas para descobrir, ele apontou Irã. Irã não respondeu. Não fala barogueiro, sou obrigado. Balomeiro, sou obrigado. Você não tem aqui grandes guintes. Então usa só coisas pretas. E guintes está rolando. E que eles que estão dizendo. Mas e coisas que também tradicionalmente Irã está chamando. Olha que ele chamou. Que Irã está matando aquele mar, é tudo. Se aquele alguém que vive no Irã, nessa casa. Então a manga de bufonessas que está contra aquele. Então, ele está recolher aqui balobeiro para apontar. Então, não é coisa que acontece na casa. O que não passa? Então, o comandante Roneira. E esse que tem que Roneira, eles se futuro balobeiros. Babia, lá que está conseguindo poder de ser o balobeiros. Babia, que está trabalhando nesse momento. Nós já temos que ir na Roneira. E para Beirã chamar lá. E aí, o que não passa?
Ou seja, diga para o monolo. Ou seja, para ver o andalo. Ou seja, e para o monolo. Ou seja, não, dá cunha.
Vamos falar obrigado. Obrigado para Ronaldo Zidane. Você não tem aqui momento de não lembrar. Não lhe lembrei do capacete. O povo filha de filhos, de irmãos, de família risco. Irmãos, se não lembrar. MC Caralho e cantar. Eles que estão puros para não comer. Eles que vão ir na BC, labradores. Para não comer na tabanca, para não fartar, para não ter alegria, força para fazer qualquer coisa. E esses que vão olhar assim. Labradores, ela labra, para poder parar, para poder comer. Não me estou pedindo o governo de Guiné-Bissau para apoiar a região de Piombo, Leão do Norte, na labor, para poder comer. Depois não tem pescadores também, que não mames. Obrigado. Pescadores também. Eles não mames. Eles que está puro para não comer. Babia, que máfia que está para apanhar? Ou que pis que está apanhar melhor? Ele que está puro não comer. Não tem pescadores. Não mames pescadores. É por vir me na praça de sal. Não pedi Ministério de Pesca. É apoiar a região de Piombo, Leão do Norte, na pesca. Mas não tem bom pires para não poder comer. Obrigado pescadores. Você não vai para diferente dança para ver Piombo. E Leão está com todo tipo de carne. Não tem o primeiro. Cabarro, não é cabarro na metade. Piombo, é que está preguiça de nada. Cabarro, ai, esse cabarro que está na metade. Cabarro. Muito obrigado, Cabarro. Não tem mandigas. Olha, a nós e Piovo, Leão. Não tem mandigas. Mandiga, não vem? Na Piovo, não tem mandiga. Leão. É Leão, eles gostam de divertir. Ele gosta de subir e gosta de ter conhecimento. Leão de Piovo, ou Leão de Norte, melhor assim. Leão de Norte. Bota ninguém que se der a turbina para ouvir voz ou pode a voz. Muito bem, Leão de Norte. Obrigado, Mandigas, obrigado. Tem Leão de Norte, não tem Mandiga. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado, você não vai ter. Fula. Fula, muito obrigado, Fula. Fula, que não vai ter. Mandiga, obrigado, Fula na biomba. Fula. Sai, Fula. É tudo na região de Biombo. Quando eu falo Leão, eu falo ser Leão. Hoje pessoal, habilidade de Leão. Muito obrigado. Gosto no último tropas que lutam para a independência de Guiné-Bissau. Caos, não ser povo independente. Tropas, ele luta para a independência. Presidente, patrocinadores, presidente, muito obrigado. Não negar-se também, tamborista, homem conduto, caça presente.
Palmas forte para a região de Biombo. Gomes. Não para beber como a... Você quer que nota, Cícero? Naquela região, sim. Biombo e Benfica, tudo. Biombo e Benfica. Mas não tem bunda, não crianças. Que flor de luta. E essa na mostra, se dança. Fundos Makoya, Jambadon de Mandinga, Mamesi Fanado, Jambadon de Mandinga.
It certainly has been an exciting time today on Heritage. Yes, you learned a lot as far as Guinea-Bissau is concerned. Their heritage, their costume. Now looking at, of course, the way they merge culture together, it certainly has been mind-blowing. So we'll be seeing again next week for another exciting time. To have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
All right, guys, it's another lovely Monday evening, and it's my pleasure to have you join me on yet another beautiful episode of the Guys Hangout Show on independent television, reaching you live from that city of bronze. You know, I love to call it that city where the king is truly king. Now, for starters, the Guys Hangout Show is one show that, teaches men to prioritize themselves and, of course, to be the best that they can be, just so that they can give the best that they can give. It airs on this station every Monday. All right, my name is Harry Aigboje, and of course, it's my pleasure to have you join us on this episode of the show. Now, today, we're going to be taking a look at a very, very important topic, something that actually caught my attention of recent. Okay, sometimes you're just going about your daily activities, and then you just, for a second, certain things just cross your mind, and you begin to ask yourself, what has actually changed? What has gone wrong? How come things are no longer the way they used to be? And one of such things is the growing lack of parental discipline in our society as we have it today. What exactly went wrong? Whether you like it or not, you must have noticed that things are no longer the way they used to be, especially between parents and their kids. Those days when we were growing up, some of us had this reverence for our parents, right? Even in their absence. There were things we're not bold enough to do, we're not courageous enough to do, even in their absence, because of the kind of discipline that they gave us, right? So, for instance, I remember as a kid, I used to live within my boundaries as a child, right? I was not allowed to go to the next compound. Now, that was how I was raised. Not because my parents didn't like me, like us being free, but they just wanted to ensure that, you know, we lived within the boundaries that they set for us. Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there can also relate. Now, if you take a look at the parents of today, it doesn't seem to be like that anymore, right? A lot of parents seem to be more flexible in raising their children. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? My name is Harry Agboje once again, and it's my pleasure to have you join us on this episode of the show. Now, like you already know, I'm not alone. I've got an amazing person in the house with me, and together we're going to be taking a look at this topic. Now, he is an educationist and also, you know, a social analyst. He's really passionate about lots of things that are happening around us, and he loves to share his wealth of wisdom and experience on such matters. It's good to have you, Abu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harry. And as usual, it is good to be on the show today again. It is always a pleasure talking about issues that concerns us in society, especially issues like this, where if we keep quiet, things will get deteriorated and it will get out of hand.
True.
So there are no bad things tried because good men decide to keep quiet.
Absolutely.
So we must say something.
Definitely, we must say something, and that's basically why we're here. I mean, we really can't help not to say something, all right? Now, we're going to be taking a look at this issue as we begin to look at it one after the other, right?
Okay.
Let's look at it from this angle. Parenting is serious business, right? And I don't think a lot of parents realize that, a lot of parents of this generation, because there seems to be this trend of people just giving birth without recourse to the responsibility of taking care of those children. So let's start from there. Why would anybody want to, you know, start having kids without, you know, considering what it will take and what it will cost, you know, to take care of those children?
Yeah, procreation is one biological gift that God and nature has given to humans. So anybody can, any adult who has gotten to a certain stage can procreate, except he or she has a medical condition.
Okay.
But procreation is not a yardstick to be called a parent. So we have so many fathers and mothers who are not parents. Being a parent means you are ready for the job after birth. Birthing a child is your God-given talent or God-given gift.
The natural ability.
That natural ability. But the idea of training this child, parenting, is a full-time job. I say full-time job because it's one thing that people just overlook, and because of that they think because they are fathers they could be called parents. No. We have so many fathers but few parents. So it's because of these few parents that we have in society that you see there is a growing lack of discipline in terms of parenting and all that. So I think the few parents that we have, if you see their children outside, you can distinguish them from those that have fathers and just mothers. So I think we should be seeing this thing from the idea of who are parents, to be precise.
Okay.
A parent is that person who is a father or a mother and has indulged herself into the act of bringing up this child. You know, children, the mind of a child is like a tabula rasa. Whatever you imprint on that mind is what goes a long way to determine what the child will become in life or how the child will behave and all that. But we really have people imprinting these things on the mind of the child. That is the question.
I think that's $1 million question, because this is one question I believe a lot of parents do not ask themselves before they begin to procreate. Like you've rightly established, there's a clear difference between procreation
there is.
And parenting. And I think that's what we need to begin to establish. What exactly is it with parents of nowadays? You know, just like I said in opening, you know, when we were growing up, it was a different ball game, right?
Yeah.
We were raised with a very high level of discipline. So much so that parents of this generation will probably see that as you being too hard on your child.
Okay.
Now, what's the place of discipline in parenting? Let's begin.
Yeah, there are different factors that I think I will tie to this lack of parental discipline. Number one, the infiltration of Western culture into our traditional belief and norms. Secondly, we also have this idea of laziness on the part of some people who call themselves, I use the word who call themselves parents, laziness on their part. And thirdly, there is this idea of the growing new normal, where people advocate that children should be treated with, like adults, they should be treated with kids and gloves and all that, so that you not hurt them. And so after all, they are human beings. So, but let me start with this infiltration of Western culture into our traditional culture. Now, you see, the white men asked us at the time, to marry a fellow man, a woman marry a fellow woman. Many of us did not dispute it. Some African countries are already doing that. They also asked us to wear the suit, the sleeve, the waistcoat, the tie, and all that, despite our hot weather. Many of us did not also dispute that fact. And we are doing it. But very recently, they are also asking us to treat a child as an adult. And so many parents have started, many fathers and mothers have started treating their child, their children, as adults. That's the problem. They want to train them in the Western way. They want their children to see themselves as adults. They are rushing them through that childhood. They don't want them to enjoy that childhood. They don't want them to see themselves as children. That state of innocence is no longer there. A child that just here, you call that child that you want to reason the child like an adult. What's his reasoning capacity in the first place? My brother, what is the rationale behind you sitting a child down to say, let's discuss? You are just 4 now. And who told you that a 4 years old is thinking like an adult already? It's not. I know many will say this is a computer age and jet age. Leave that computer age and jet age. Children are children. And most of how were we brought up? We were told that if you misbehave, I will flog you. I have so many parents in my area. My father was not just my father. Yes, he was my biological father, but I have so many fathers. Before my father even come back from his workplace, someone else have disciplined you if you misbehave and all that. Do we still have such in our society? No. You see, everybody wants to say my family.
So you're saying that in those days there was a communal mindset?
A communal mindset. All parents were parents. And all children were children to all parents. Now, these days, you see families saying, you don't touch my child, I know how to discipline my child, you leave this child for me to discipline and all that. So that's why we're getting children are going haywire. Some of them are even going gaga. You know, some of the hairstyle that a 10-year, 11-year-old will put on, you begin to wonder, is this one coming from a home? You see some young girls out there, 11, 10, some of the things they will wear like, does this one even have fathers and mothers at home? So the issue now is we are drinking too much from this cup of Western wine. I think we should come back home. We should come back to this African tradition. We are Africans. And in Africa, there is discipline intrinsically buried in our totemic mindset. It is in our subconscious. That discipline should be resurrected. That parents should see themselves as not just parents, but as role models, as disciplinarians. Correct these children when need be. Don't reason with a child. It gets to a certain stage, you reason with him, not at this stage. It is some of those things that you imprint on him when he was still a child that will model him into a very good adult. A good child definitely will become a good adult.
Absolutely.
Now, when you lead them, you think they can think of themselves. What you fail to tell them, their friends out there will tell them. And that is what we should avoid. So that idea of Western culture, I think we should come back home. Beside that, sir, this idea of laziness on the part of parents. They think now that you already have a child. So if you can provide for this child, you are performing the work of a parent already. The provision we are talking about here is not just finance. Many of them talk is just finance. He's attending a very good school, I can provide. If he wants to buy anything, I can give him more. No. Emotionally, psychologically, this child needs you. Morally, you should be there for him. Who are his friends? Do you even know his friends? What are his routine? How does this child carry out his daily activity? You should be your child's best friend. You should have a roundtable talk most times with him. You should be able to tell him, if you try that, I will flog a lot of you and he will not try it. Don't let him see himself like an adult already. You hardly even see children these days bathing outside. And someone said it's civilization. I think they know too much.
Okay.
Their parents make them know too much.
So why did I say they've gone past the phase of innocence?
You see that state of innocence? It has been killed. Every child now, the parents have been able to inculcate in them that they are no longer children, but they are now what? Adults. And there is no way a child can behave like an adult. He will be an adult in a wrong form. So let these children grow. Correct them. Discipline them. Be a disciplinarian. You don't rub men with a child of 5.
Okay. Now, you've actually said a lot. Now, talking about the infiltration of Western culture, just recently I saw a video on Facebook of this American comedian, veteran comedian, Steve Harvey, he was actually interviewing a kid, a 5-6-year-old girl. So he was asking her why she liked her brother, why she loved her brother. And she was saying, well, she loves her brother because, her big brother, of course, because he's always there to protect her and to comfort her when, her parents whooped her. And then, of course, the crowd, reacted in laughter and all of that. Now, I went through the comments as usual, and I saw a lot of persons asking questions, and it's a lot of people, complaining that it was totally out of place for the parents to, whoop her or to discipline her. And of course, it became a debate as usual. Now, that pretty much reminds me of something. The fact that this is also becoming a major issue in this part of the world, whether or not to discipline a child. Because some people see the use of corporal punishment as a sign of hatred for the child. That how can you, use corporal punishment for a child that you love? So they see it as, you doing too much. They believe you shouldn't use corporal punishment on your child, that there are other ways. Just like you said, some of them believe you can reason with your child. But how do you reason with a child whose mind is not even matured enough to, look at things from that perspective? I think what we have is actually a problem, because people want to mistake smartness, intellectual exposure to maturity.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem. I would like you to speak in that regard.
You see, words get their meaning from their context.
Okay.
What they call maltreatment in a particular context, in another context might be called discipline.
Discipline.
So when that people say you are hitting that child too hard, you're beating this child and all that. But I think in the right context, when it comes to my child or any other child, or any other child around me, you should use that right word, discipline. We were once children, sir. They did not kill us.
Of course not.
We are what we are today because of how our parents decided to straighten our life. At least our parents are not beasts. They know what they are doing. You don't expect a mother who gave birth to a child to kill that child with her own ends, except she's maniacally derailed and all that.
Yeah.
When children are being disciplined with love, you can discipline a child with love. There is no need you bringing in ideas of you are abusing the child rights and all that. He is a child, for God's sake. The reason why you are saying I am abusing his right because you want to protect that child. The reason why I even discipline that child is to protect the child also. Now, this is what the government are fighting against, is that you should not abuse, assault a child. Discipline will get to an extent, becomes an assault.
So that's where we need to draw the line now. At what point does discipline become an assault?
When you begin to inflict serious pains,
bodily harm
on this child, it is not an assault.
Okay.
When you are not correcting the child with love, it becomes an assault. When you are doing it with hatred, it becomes an assault. When you forget the fact that this person is still a child, it becomes an assault. But when you are doing it in the circumstances of these things I'm saying, like he's a child, I want to correct him with love, he's my child, and all that, that is discipline. And we should not rule out discipline because some persons are misusing it. I know I am not in line with so many parents or guardians who have decided to inflate pains on children because you want them to listen. No, that is beyond discipline.
Okay.
That is now an assault. That is now an hatred. That is now a corporal punishment. And if I ask my child to kneel down there, for example, or get a cane and give my child 2 or 3 strokes of the cane for doing something wrong, next time he will not try it. But if you now give a punishment that is more than that child to that child, then it becomes an assault.
An assault, okay.
You're asking a child, for example, you get pepper, rub on the child's body, or give the person some scars, marks, and all that. Rub pepper. No, that is wicked and that is evil. But you're asking the child to kneel down there, or get a cane, flog this child 5 times or more, as the case may be, and after all this, call the child, next time, don't try it. I am your father, I love you, and that's why I'm doing this. I hope you will not try it next time. Such a child will not try it. But you're not letting the child know the reason why you have flogged him or disciplined him and all that. It is hatred.
Hatred.
So we should draw the line between discipline and hatred. So I am not advocating for that idea of that battering, that corporal punishment.
Yeah.
I am saying we should not rule out the fact that these children are still children. And children have a mindset that is as clean as a tabula rasa. So we have to imprint something that they will take up into becoming a very good adult.
I guess that's why the Holy Book says that you should train up your child in the way he should go, that when he's old, he will not depart from it. All right, guys, it's still the Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television. Just in case you're just joining us, we're talking about the decline in discipline, parental discipline. What has gone wrong? What exactly is the problem? Why is it that, kids are no longer as disciplined as before? Why is it that kids nowadays can just do whatever they want without, their parents or a parental figure, putting them in check? Now, Abu, just a moment ago, you were talking about the difference between correcting in love and correcting, in hatred, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's no longer uncommon to see children just walking past an adult without greeting. And that was actually one of the things that we were taught as, children. And that was exactly one of those values that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Which is why we cannot see someone who's older than us now
and not greet.
Don't you think that's also a function of this lack of discipline?
The dysfunctionality of the society, that's one of the factor, one of the things we got from the dysfunctionality in the society. Why did I say so? I just told you not quite long that all parents were parents to all children. An elder can call you back and say, so you don't know how to greet. Where are you from? You say, I'm sorry, sir. Good morning, sir. Or in my dialect, you greet according to your family lineage, and you must do that. That's how we grow up. But these days, many parents have restricted themselves from doing that. Before someone else will come somewhere and say, don't talk to my child, it's my child, I know how to train my child and all that. So that communal nature is no longer there. And you can see, that is just a microcosm of the larger one. You could see, apart from this idea of greeting, you could see children, they hardly even get up from the seat for an elder to sit, if that's realistic.
That's another dimension to it.
Now, you see some of them, they are very disrespectful. They have begun to euphemize what we call disrespect. You see some of them will say savage reply. What you might want to call obscenity,
I think that's one of the effects of
stupidity, social media.
Yeah.
You see some of them will say, there's a new one now, we listen, we don't judge.
That's not even good.
They are indirectly promoting children to go haywire.
Go wild.
They are promoting this idea of you can always do whatever you want to do. And they are promoting immorality.
And the question we should even be asking is, what do we call judge in this context? Judging is discipline. Discipline we're talking about.
It is discipline they want to eradicate.
When a child does something wrong, you're supposed to discipline that child.
So you see,
but to children of this generation,
you listen, you don't judge. I will judge, you say, you listen, you don't judge. Besides that, sir, you see, when these children were growing up, they were given this orientation that I am your father, I am your mother, I am the only person, I should be the only person that has the moral right to discipline you. And that's bad. Let these children know that all parents in this vicinity are your parents.
Even adults.
Even adults.
Not
they
necessarily
have the
parents.
right to discipline you in my absence. When I was growing up, something happened. I went home to tell my father that a teacher has flogged me in school. He said, okay, the next morning we'll go. He followed me to school. And when we got there, he took the cane himself and flogged me again right in front of the teacher. These were adults in unity. Adults having a meeting over me that I don't even know about. Their primary aim then was, this child must not go wayward. Now that I am an adult, I used to think like, okay, could it be the reason why my dad have to flog me again? You know, that sends a message. The message was, you are safe in his hands and don't misbehave because I'm your father. I'll flog you again. But these days, we've seen parents that will follow their children to school and start constituting nuisance. Some of them will not even ask. You'll be telling your child right from the home that your teacher will die today. You are giving that child an impression that he or she can disrespect
an elder and
get away with it. I'm your mother, I will always fight for you. You are creating a small problem that will blossom into a bigger one in society tomorrow. A child you couldn't discipline today will end up in prison. And they'll start crying. Discipline your child. Teach these children societal value. The values, one of the values I will hold tenaciously to in Africa is respect. They should be respectful. Leave this idea of we are in a civilized world, this is a computer age. And in America, you don't touch a child like that, they'll call the police on. Trust Nigeria police. Okay. They'll be very quick to tell you, no, it's not like that. you must respect your parents and all that. So that is one of the factors. Though there are other factors. There are factors that we have this single motherhood and fatherhood. It's also a contributing factor.
Broken homes.
A broken home. Now, if a child is coming from a broken home, that parental care, love will not be there. Of course, it's not easy for one person to train up a child.
Okay.
You need a father figure, you need a mother figure, and this person is not there. Definitely it will affect the child's psychology, and that will metamorphose into an adult that will be antisocial,
Okay.
or that will be maladjusted in society.
All right.
So that is another angle.
Okay, once again, it's the Guys Hangout Show, and tonight we're taking a look at the issue of the lack of parental discipline. What has gone wrong? What is the difference between the way it used to be and the way it is now? Now, Abu, in closing, I just wanted to give a word of advice to parents out there who are not living up to expectation in terms of disciplining their child. Those who think, letting their child get away with everything they do is a sign of love. What's your advice for them? In less than,
They shouldn't be just a father or a mother.
Okay.
They should be parents. And parenting is not an easy job.
Okay.
If you are capable of giving birth to a child, you should be able to parent, take good care of that child. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to discipline your child.
Don't be scared to discipline your child. I guess that's the parting word for tonight. I want to say a big thank you to you, Abu, for taking out time.
Thank you, my brother.
Time to be with us on the show today. And of course, to every one of you out there who have created time to be with us. I hope you've taken something away from tonight's discourse. Of course, the most important thing to take away from this is parenting is serious business. All right? So the moment you decide to become a parent, just have it in mind that the future of that child lies in your hands. If that child is going to grow up to become a responsible person, it's totally up to you. And of course, it's up to the adults that child is surrounded by. So another thing that Abu said in the course of his analysis is that parenting doesn't just end with you as a parent. You should also give the adults around your child the responsibility of raising your child, just like it was in the olden days. Don't have this mindset that you are the only one who has the responsibility of taking care of that child. My name is Harry Igboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do ensure you do the right thing and stay out of trouble. Do have yourself a lovely night rest.
ITV, certainly the best.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Sotun rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortan Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II. Thereafter, the priest assigned to the immortal shrine offered Oba Ewai the second items for Isoton on behalf of his family. However, Chok, known as Uri, represented a mixed cheer from royal fans after ancestral spirits were invoked to bear witness and announce his arrival. On his way home, Oba Ewai paid tributes at various pilgrimage sites, including Queen Idia tomb, the side Oba market, where a cheerful crowd of traders abandoned their wares to catch a glimpse of the royal personage and join in the celebration.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Now, the Ivory Tower is one of the most hallowed institutions in our society today. Now, whether you like it or not, it is one of those institutions that determine how the world views the society, because it's the highest level of education in every society. So, Nigeria is not left out. We have some very prestigious universities, polytechnics, and of course other higher institutions in this country. Now, one of the questions that run through the mind of the average Nigerian is, most of the products of these higher institutions, are they really worth it? Do they actually carry the image of the higher institutions? Okay, do our universities or our ivory towers dish out graduates based on merit or other factors? And that's basically one of the things we're going to be taking a look at today. My name is Harry Igboje, and of course it's my pleasure to have you join me on this amazing episode of the show. It's Flipside on Independent Television, and today we're going to be having a very, very interesting, robust conversation. The topic of discourse today is upholding academic and moral standards in Nigeria's ivory tower. Upholding academic and moral standards in Nigeria's ivory tower. Now, it is no news that students are usually awarded for character and learning. Okay, so the question is this really true of most of our higher institutions today, most of our ivory towers today? And that's basically what we're asking today. And I've got two amazing gentlemen with me in the house to do justice to this. They are familiar faces. They've been there, done that. And it's an honor to have both of them on the show with me. To my far left is someone who happens to be a social impact commentator. He's also a public affairs analyst, and he goes by the name of Favor Sadze. Welcome on board, bro.
Good morning, or afternoon.
Welcome on board.
Thank you so much.
All right, and seated next to Favor is someone else who is also a social impact commentator. He's a public affairs analyst, and he happens to be in the academics. He goes by the name of Ebere Chukwudonze.
Good afternoon. Yes.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's begin by examining some of the ills, that bedevil the ivory tower. Just like I said in opening, the ivory tower is one that is judged by both character and learning. Okay, so what are some of those ills, some of those, should I say, elements that are constituting a clog to the wheels of the progress of the ivory tower as far as, character and learning are concerned? Let me begin with you, Favor.
Okay, not so much, because I would say they stem around some certain concepts. And first will be the concept of sorting.
Sorting?
Yes, sorting.
I think I've heard that before, but I'm not too sure what it means.
Something has to go for something.
Okay, nothing goes for nothing.
Yes, nothing goes for nothing. When excellence is not awarded by merit, people buy their way through things and through the system. That's sorting. Okay. When you're doing the work and I'm playing off, and when it's time for us to have rewards, I get more reward even when I've done nothing.
More of the work. Okay, when you've done nothing.
Nothing, yes.
Okay.
As that system requires, you get, because still sorting is still doing something actually, but that's not the basic requirement or the legal requirement for excellence to be awarded.
So in other words, sorting is illegal.
Very illegal. Very illegal. You can. The system is not supposed to reward sorters. It's supposed to reward learners, right? It's an institution of learning, not an institution of sorting. So why do we have to now sort to get excellence?
So in the layman's language, it wouldn't be wrong to say sorting is buying grades, so to speak.
Or blocking.
Or blocking. The common word, blocking.
Okay, yes, I see you laughing, Ebere Chukwu. What's your take on this?
Well, the fact still remains that we are trying to get it right, but we've not actually gotten it right. Okay. And in recent times, I think most are aware that universities are trying to bring out policies that will discourage sorting or blocking. But this also is not just about the university, but the government has a role to play. Because if I'm comfortable, if I'm well-to-do, I'm not sure there's any amount of money you want to give me to make me do the things that are not proper. Okay. So, but however, if for instance you are working in a place and your take home is convenient and comfortable enough to take care of your bills, you have savings and run your family without stress, I'm not sure somebody can just easily walk up to you and say, please, I need you to do me a favor, take this. Because the person first of all rates you to know, will this guy really need this? So when the system is not making that happen, you now see that you now start seeing people compromising. Because it's not about, if A is not willing to compromise, I'm not sure B want to sort.
Okay, so you're attributing it to economic factors?
Yeah, there are a lot of factors that we need to also be sincere. There are a lot of factors that must have actually led to that. But we are not saying it is justifiable. Okay. But however, what we are saying is that it is not, when it comes to a citadel of learning and the ivory tower of our institution, when it comes to ivory towers, those kind of characters are not supposed to be encouraged because you are awarded your certificate for character and learning. Okay. So, and sorting should not be part of the character of any student in a higher institution.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good way to kickstart. But this actually is a question on my mind right now. Okay, character and learning, moral and academic standards, are they intertwined, or is it possible for them to stand alone? can we take a look at one without, taking a look at the other? Favor.
I don't think so, because just like as it is said, in character and in learning, someone can be so learned, so much learned that when it comes to the relationship here, he has garnered with people, you want to rate it 0. So what becomes of the learning? Because for example, the popular school that is around us here has their motto as knowledge for service. So in the spirit of servitude, what becomes of knowledge?
But there are people who are academically sound, right? As far as academics are concerned, they are top notch. But same can't be said of their character. So do you think that's a problem?
It is. It is a problem, because
even though the ivory tower is primarily for academic purpose.
It is.
And learning.
Okay.
And when we now bring in the learning factor, like I asked, what becomes of your learning when it's time to serve? Because your learning is not for personal consumption only. It is for you to make value of yourself and the society at large. So you're supposed to serve the society. So in your daily activities, where you meet with people, where you meet with other members of the society, how do you foster a relationship? Is the relationship healthy? I've met people who are very, very good, straight A's, and when it came to times when they had to interact with people, it was a chaos. You see all forms of toxicity, all forms of violence, and you'll be like, I thought you were supposed to be educated.
Have behavioral defects.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a factor. You cannot remove. I don't think we should at any point separate any of those.
Okay. Now, what steps do you think can be taken to address, the declining quality of teaching in our public institutions?
Well, thank you very much. I think there are a lot of steps that actually need to be taken to address the declining. You said the declining what?
The declining quality of teaching in public universities.
Part of what needs to be done, if we have to address that, is that you don't just there's what they call training and retraining. I'm not sure we have much when it comes to that in our institution.
Okay.
They just believe that you are there. You are supposed to go and train yourself. You're supposed to develop yourself by yourself.
Learn on the job.
Learn on the job.
Okay.
There's supposed to be training and retraining. There's also supposed to be opportunity for you to have exchange programs, with other
when you say training and retraining, do you mean a system where lecturers, for example, have to be assessed?
Yes, of course. Because you're a lecturer does not mean that you cannot also undergo training on your own.
Okay.
As a lecturer, you're supposed to, with time, you're supposed to be trained on the evolvement. Let me use that word, because everything is evolving.
Okay.
The education system also evolving. The way education is today was not like it was 20 years ago. So the lecturers need to also be brought to speed to the recent trend with respect to the educational sector.
Okay.
So they need to be brought to speed. They need to be trained. They need to be appraised from time to time. Because like when you hear lecturers from Western world talk, I think there was a time, some of us while we were students, they felt very, very embarrassed, almost depressed, where when you assumed maybe a new section or a new level, some lecturer will be telling you, if you don't read, if you in the last, maybe the last section, most of them failed, you shouldn't be bragging about the poor performance of your students. Rather, you should be bragging about the high performance of your students. To say, okay, for instance, like, hello guys, last section we had about 70% pass or high performer, but I feel it wasn't good enough. Guys, I'm going to do all I can to teach you this section. Let's see how we can beat that record. Let's see if we can get 90. Let's see if we can get 95.
Yeah, we've seen cases where lecturers even amplify the failures of their students.
You understand? Not you telling me that you all failed. If you are telling us that your student failed, it means that you are not doing the right thing. It means something is missing somewhere. It means perhaps as you are teaching them, they are not actually understanding what you are teaching. To be blunt,
it means you have failed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to see how we can start looking at it from two sides of the coin.
Okay.
The flip side. We look at that. Okay, why are the students not performing? Then you should also, sometimes another thing also feels that our lecturers sometimes are overburdened. We have to also be sincere with that. For instance, you're a course advisor of almost 200 or 300 students or 150 students, preparing everything that has to do with the student. Yeah. Then you're also a lecturer who also goes to class to teach. Maybe perhaps you are taking 2 or 3 courses outside every other assignment that might be given to you. Now you see that your performance will not be very accurate.
Okay.
It will not be high because you as a lecturer automatically, I feel you are already stressed. So we need to see how we can reduce this burden.
Okay.
If somebody is a course advisor, perhaps let's just say you're a course advisor for this section or for this particular category, everything that we want to make him not to be able to perform adequately in his job at that point in time should be taken away from him. Because as course advisor oversee, the lecturer or the course advisor gets to know the student one-on-one, know whatever they are passing through, know how they can also call for either psychosocial support or whatever support, counseling for the student, and get to know them and get to help them improve academically.
Okay,
but
so
now
you're saying in a nutshell that the workload could be a
of course. You're also aware that our universities are understaffed.
Understaffed, yeah.
So these are some of the factors that need to also be considered if we must get it right. Take a look at some of the private universities. You hear that perhaps they have, let's just say, one lecturer taking a certain amount of courses, and perhaps instead of the lecturer to be doing the job of a course advisor, they employ somebody else who is an advisor. But in our own here, you will do the lecturing, you do the advisor, you do everything. Project supervisor, there's seminar supervisor, IT supervisor. The work becomes
a jack of all trades.
You get so it's you wouldn't expect them to be at their very best because they are already overdrained, they are already stressed.
That's right.
And I don't know if they even have time to go for leave because they're understaffed. So these are some of the things. The educational sector, we must get it right. Everybody has a role to play, but there must be an enabling environment for these lecturers to perform.
All right.
Without that, I'm sure that a lot of things.
All right, if you're just joining us, it is Flip Side on Independent Television, and we're taking a look at upholding academic and moral standards in Nigeria's ivory tower. We shall be going on this break. The program continues afterwards. Please stay tuned. Program is still Flip Side on Independent Television, and we're taking a look at upholding moral and academic standards in Nigeria's ivory towers. Now, Favor, I would like us to examine some of these ills beyond the classroom, in the streets of campuses. And I'm sure you already know what some of these ills are. Cultism, drug abuse, prostitution, and all whatnot. Despite the fact that these things happen outside the walls of the classroom, they invariably have an impact on the performance of the average student in the classroom. How so?
Yes, when you consider all of these, let's take a closer look to drug abuse. And drug abuse, if you look into the system of these people and their social life, you realize that most of the people who are into this practice of abusing drugs are the very social people, so to speak. Now, I'm not saying it is restricted to these people, but when you see parties being held, when you see social functions being held, events and weekends and all of those, that is when indulgence increase most times. So for some persons, I think they get to meet their first drug practice during these events. You go for an event and the drinks
influence.
Yes, the drinks are mixed with all sort of things, and they tell you just take it. You need to get high and all of these. And first time you get a knockoff. Second time it becomes normal. And third time you are wanting it. Fourth time you can't even live without it. And it goes on and on. And that's just one of the facets of all of what we are considering. Because drug is just one, and for this situation, you want to also see prostitution. You get most of the clubhouses in Benin City as a case study get their girls from the schools. Go to the okay. Let me not call any institution now. Go to some institution of learning on a Friday evening from between 7, 8, and 9. You see buses, good buses, vehicles parked, being loaded by girls, very good-looking girls from higher institution. I'm saying in front of the higher institution. I'm not saying at the back, in the front. Sit down, look at what's happening. Where are they going to? Are they going for a vigil? Oh, but when all of this happens, and you know it is time for exams and tests, where will these people be? Where will these people be? So it affects their general academic performance. And you know, when performance is already skewed or distorted, then will result to what? Sorting. Or sex for grades. So you see how it accumulates to a serious problem in this academic system of learning. So if we don't, and I also want to blame again parents in some respect, because you know what would you say when, for example, a child writes post TME, is waiting for the results, and the parents have already gone through all the offices in the university, trying to look for who to talk to
for soft landing.
Why not just wait? The system will always at some point reward merit first before anything. That is what we know, at least to a great standard, to a great extent. So why must the parent have to go through from one point to another? But that's just postulating. Do you know in most of the SSC exams that it's copy and paste? Special centers everywhere.
Special centers.
So you see, the problem is coming back from home.
From the roots.
The roots. So when these people get into the system and they are frustrated or desperate, they remember, oh, there was a time my mom did this and did that. Maybe that might work again. You know, that system is activated.
So it all boils down to cutting corners.
That's the general Nigerian problem. And I've said it here countless times before, and I'll say it again. This country, this state is a state that is pretending to be asleep. And you cannot wake someone who is pretending to be asleep.
The person can only wake up when
he wants to.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Favor. I see you were itching to respond to
that. Yes. In addition to what he said, you know, outside, when you were just talking about every Friday weekend, you know, dirty Fridays and all that, you know, sometimes we wonder, because even those who recruit these girls for parties are also students. They have their mamas now who comes to pick them.
The mother hen.
Say, oh, we have this, so you have to go and stuff like that. But it's so unfortunate that at the end of it, sometimes you also see that these persons that end up getting even good grades and those people who are serious in school. Because somebody somewhere can just put the call and say, what will it take? Okay, help us out, sort it out. The way you talk about sorting. But however, if I am comfortable and you know I am principled, you cannot call me, because if you do, I will not tell you, sorry, it's not within my power, I cannot do it. And I think I also like the way some institutions are also going now, because I feel what some institutions are doing now is that one person does not take some courses anymore. Okay. You get like 2, 3, 4, 5 persons taking one particular course.
Division of labor.
So if you trade this young man, you might not be able to infiltrate this next person. You might not be able to infiltrate this next person.
Might.
So, I know why I use the word might, because you can only speak
I guess for... insinuating that it's still possible.
Very possible.
No, but I don't know. But however, as at that point in time, and when you now know the cost of passing through 5 words for one course,
that will probably discourage you.
That will probably not discourage you. If you are passing through 5 words, this one say, okay, I have mine is 10%, but because even if 10%, you have to give me XYZ. All of them do that, and you know you are supposed to do that for about 7 or 6 courses. I'm sure you want to sit up and say,
you end up asking yourself if it's worth it.
Then when we were in school, there was one thing I tell myself. When people are thinking about, me and my friends, we have a small team of us. We call just like a reading group. Even after we finished, we still became friends. To sustain our part. What we do is that we'll just say, instead of you to look for money to go and block one course, use the money to buy food and eat very well, so that when you are reading, you'll be comfortable to read.
Exactly. But you know, that's your friends, right? Now I had friends too, in the room, in hostel, that said, in fact, these guys were hardly in the room. They were never in the room, but they had a bed space in the room. They also had spaces outside school, off campus. Do you know what he would always tell me? He said, you see that particular course, I'm not the bother myself. I'll go face work. Let me just be working. I'll go to work. I'll gather the money. When time reach, I pay, I pass. But you see this other two, I know this lecture, I know the collect. So I'll try read this one. If I get D or C, I'm okay.
Imagine such a level of confidence in a corrupt system.
No, it's not a corruption, and this is strategy.
I know you are being sarcastic, but hey, we know what this is about. Like, how can you be so confident in the system?
Yeah, you are sure that you can.
But you know that people always say, who reads?
Never pass. They know who read, not serious. Who pass, never
no book.
That was the slogan they used to.
Till tomorrow, it is still there. Before I became a student of the higher institution, I heard it. Then I listened to it. I experienced it. I've left. I still hear it.
You saw it firsthand.
Yes. So why would I now be killing myself? You have to use strategy.
Okay. Now that I still find that quite hilarious. But I would like to ask this, okay, because in all of this, the accusing finger has been pointing towards just one, one sector, okay, of the system, the students. Do the lecturers have a share of this blame?
Before we consider the lecturers, can I quickly say something that some 3 shows before this show that I was there with some other men, I can't remember their name. I said something before we left that the biggest problem in our society today is not the people only, it's poverty. And I said, majority of Nigerians are poor. So not until we address poverty.
Okay.
A lot of things will not work. Because like they said, everybody has a price.
Okay.
Why the thing is that some people's price are more than so. So if you cannot afford me, you can't buy me.
Okay.
But right now, everybody is cheap.
Everyone is affordable.
Everybody's
as a result of poverty.
Poverty.
Okay.
So before we now consider the lecturer, the students are poor. That's why they will go to hustle their Friday night life or Saturday night life. The lecturers are also poor. That's why the proceeds from the Saturday night life, you have to give to us. So you are happy, I'm happy.
Okay, so let's see what exactly the lecturers do in all of this that makes them culpable.
Okay. One, they on their own have not done their bits. Now, what do I mean by this? How do you explain a situation where a lecturer that is supposed to take a block of a course, he knows that he has not sufficiently taught enough. He knows. Then when it's time
and
for...
some even, say that some of these lecturers do it on purpose. That they deliberately leave out certain, should I say, teachings, concepts, and part of the curriculum, just to starve the students. So that when it's time for examinations, these students come back to.
I think that is relative.
It may be relative.
The reason why I say it's relative is that what's supposed to be the normal standard of the academic calendar. If, for instance, you are taking a course and the academic calendar says within 3 months and 2 weeks or 4 months, and the schedule for those courses will not be able to cover that academic calendar. That academic calendar is too short for that courses. You see that the lecturers will just want I think some lecturers might just want to brush over the surface or take as much as they can, then set the question with the area. But for some who might be lazy, I agree, some might be lazy. I still feel that those kind of, I think that is why they also introduced that 2, 3, 4, 5 persons taking some of this course.
Okay.
So that if the course is bulky, you just take this part, you're taking this part, this person taking this part, this other person taking this part. Then before you know it, they're able to meet up.
Okay.
We agree that some of them might be lazy. We agree that some of them might, I'm not sure anybody, if you're a lecturer, I'm not sure you might want to punish anybody. I'm not sure. Except maybe you were wish hunt while you're in school. And even while if you're wish hunt, would you want to also not transfer what you experience to somebody else? That's wickedness.
But there are people
wickedness
who are just
level.
Naturally wicked.
Perhaps, but everybody cannot be wicked.
But do you know that like I always want to draw everything back to the home, where we come from. Now, for example, I don't know if maybe for those that attended the boarding school, do you realize that in the boarding school, when you are a junior, you are praying to become a senior.
Yeah. Just so you have the privilege to also oppress
people.
All right, we'll have to go on this break now. I know you have a whole lot to say in that regard, but we'll have to go on this very important break, and when we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned. Well, it's great to know you're still there, ladies and gentlemen. It's still Flipside on Independent Television, and we're taking a look at upholding moral and academic standards in our ivory tower. Now, before we went on that break, Favor was, trying to give us, a picture of what happens in our boarding schools. Yeah.
Yes, just like I was saying, you realize that as a junior, you're doing everything possible. You cannot even wait to become a senior. This is not because you want to go and read more books. This is not because you want to wear finer uniforms. Just because you want to have the opportunity to intimidate and
just
oppress.
The same way you were probably intimidated.
Yes. So it's a chain of institutionalized problem. Now, why did I just make reference to this? Now, you were talking about the lecturers and how they threaten students and thereabout. Now, see another scenario. In Nigeria sports, so to speak, a coach is mobilized to take the team for Nations Cup, World Cup, and if the coach does not perform, what do we get to see most times? He's fired or he resigns, right? And everybody's happy. Oh, thank you for coming, God bless you, go, we want someone else. And that's how you see in previous times coaches have been changed now here and then, right? Now, what becomes the situation in these institutions of learning where we know a lecturer has not performed? Okay, we judge the performance of the coach by the performance of the players, right? And the results and how they win and how they lose. But why is it different when it comes to the institutions of learning?
Students are supposed to be, lecturers are supposed to be rated based on the performances
of the students, right? But when we see that there's mass failure, as they call it, in a particular course that is supposed to be handled by a particular lecturer, does the school do anything about it? No. Is anybody sanctioned for this? No. Does anybody answer to anybody? No. In fact, it is even celebrated by other lecturers, and other lecturers may even be making reference to say, you see that course, if you are not careful, you will fail like those students. And everybody's scared and everybody's afraid.
Are there any particular measures you think the school can take?
I think part of what they need to do is that they need to have an effective feedback mechanism. I know they will say they have Servicon. It's not about Servicon. Part of what I feel they need to inculcate now or introduce now to schools is that they will have, at the end of perhaps every semester, they should have a way where students give feedback about the performance of their lecture.
They're not border students.
No, hold on. What I mean, it could be they could just ask, what I mean, that could also be as a way of also,
is it realistic?
No.
It is.
There's only a feedback.
The feedback is,
I wrote exam and I
didn't what I mean,
like we generally know.
No, what I mean is this. Yeah. At the end of the semester, let's assume now you are my HOD, you are my lecturer, I'm the student. You've taught me, I've been taught for this semester, and the semester is winding up, or it has winded up. They've rounded up the semester. The university sent me a feedback evaluation form to ascertain the feedback of what that semester looks like academically. Okay, what were the courses you took? How will you rate these courses on a scale of 1 to 10? Then you get the average. Was the lecturer?
You also get to rate the lecturers.
Yes. Now, was the lecturer effective? Yes. Or was that? Then from there you collate this feedback.
I think what Favor is saying. Sorry to interrupt. I think what Favor is saying in a nutshell, boils down to the question: do the lecturer, do the students have the guts, have the nerve to rate their lecturers, knowing very well that they are still at the mercies of those lecturers.
There's a way we should stop always looking at the negative side. Hold on. We want to see how we can implement a change now.
Okay. Now you are being idealistic.
Yeah, of course. We should stop looking at from my own point of view. I'm also being realistic because
realistically speaking, do you know in the
now you're getting this feedback. It's not because you want to insult anybody.
Okay.
It's to at the end of that assessment, the department cannot have an appraiser to say, from the feedback we got, the best lecturer for this semester goes to this person.
Okay. You're saying that the result will not be communicated back.
Of course, you will not.
Okay.
You not use that form of an appraiser to say, okay, there's this fall short from this angle. Please, we feel this department or these courses need to be reevaluated or need to be reviewed.
What if such appraisals leak? Isn't that possible?
We should be able to. I think from what we are having, from the conversation or the feedback I'm getting is that we are at a point where we feel we don't even trust the system.
That's the thing.
But we don't trust the system.
Sometimes we should be able to see. Let's give it a try and let it fail. They will not say
it has failed.
No, you are in the system, and you are.
I am looking at. We should think about innovative ideas to see how.
But Favor, let's look at your concerns. What exactly are your fears?
My fear is, you do that, your name is tagged, you are profiled, and you are dealt with. Do you know that in Nigeria, most institutions of learning, no lecturers have successfully been driven away? Go and check.
Driven away as in expelled?
Expelled. They go for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and in 5 years they are back into the system. Go and check. Go and check. So what happens to the period when this person returns back to the system?
What happened to whoever it was that was
that was a whistleblower?
Yeah, a whistleblower.
In Nigeria, whistleblowers are not safe.
So it's not just within the ivory tower.
No, it's an institutional problem.
My brother, my friend, we are not talking about. We are not talking about. Hold on. Look at what we are looking at. Now we are looking at how we can enhance our higher institution in this country. How we can bring it to world-class standard. For instance, if we must compete globally, we must start bringing in initiative that resonates at the global level. Not always looking at. But some private schools in Nigeria are actually doing it as working. Why is if private school universities are doing it and it's working? How come we cannot now replicate same in our own public universities?
In fact, I think he just
let him respond to that.
I think he just answered the question we've been answering now, which is I said initially that the problem is what? Poverty.
Okay.
Now, do you know what it takes for you to train your child in a private university? So and look at the statistics of the kind of people in private universities.
Because it's common knowledge that private universities are more expensive than
they are more expensive. So I cannot have paid that amount of money for my ward or my child, and you're telling me what you're telling me about my child. You can't even say it. It is the poor that gets to face all of these vices.
But in all honesty,
and the poor gets to use the poor.
In all honesty, in private universities, because of some of the school fees they pay, you see management of those schools are very careful on how they handle this students, even when they are misbehaving, compared to public universities. Let's be realistic here.
We are
hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Hold on. No, hold on, sir.
Just like in the animal farm.
Yes, of course. But some are more equal than that. So in that case, if you are not saying that because of poverty, we agree. Of course, there's nobody that is not poor. Everybody is poor. You can actually be wealthy and you can be mentally poor. Okay. There are different forms of poverty.
So poverty is not just.
It's not just you not be able to provide the basic amenities for yourself. Now, what am I trying to say is, we must start thinking aright to say, this thing is possible, even when we believe that there are some factors that limit it from happening. Let's first of all give it a try and see. And you might not necessarily start with the entire public institution. We can pick any institutions in Nigeria and now say, okay, let's start with the department. From the feedback we get from this department, let's see how can I use this evaluation or this feedback we get to see how can I improve. Subsequent semester or subsequent section, from that feedback, we will now reevaluate. Last section, we got this feedback. And at the end of it, when we did the appraisal and we did management meeting, this is what we came up with. We were able to charge the staff to see how we can improve on this. And we have been able to implement observations or feedback from what we got from last semester in this semester and in this new section. And let's see. At the end of this section, you cannot evaluate, you cannot do the evaluation of this section I just ended and the previous section to see if there was any change.
I am particularly concerned about the well-being of the students in question. Okay, we're talking about appraisal.
Nobody will victimize anybody. I just believe
it is not true.
That's the thing.
It is not true. It is not true.
It's easier said than done.
As far as we are talking about the public sector, where the federal government is in charge, it is not true. This is only practicable when we are talking about the private.
I try not to think like an average Nigerian.
We are all average Nigerian. We can decide.
I try not to think.
You see why I said we are pretending to be what?
I think this is, if you ask me, I think this is a case of idealism versus realism, right?
The ideal is not possible.
But change is possible
given the realities on ground.
Yes, the only reality that I see, that I know, is the fact. Okay, do you know that it is still the same lecturers from the public university that still goes to the private universities to teach?
So it's like a spillover.
So if I in university XYZ owned by the federal government, I'm wicked, I'm mean, I'm desperate, I'm vile. But when it comes to university PSY, which is private, I'm good, I'm reasonable, I'm nice. What changed in between?
In between.
And you see why when
something must have gone wrong.
There's a standard.
You see what?
That the moment you enter into that system, you must conform to that standard.
So you see why? That's why I said it is a systemic problem.
Okay.
So in this system, the ideal is not obtainable.
So in other words, you're saying that the system needs to be overhauled.
Totally.
All right.
But it is not possible.
Why is it not possible?
Okay, like I said, it's a case of idealism versus realism. But you see, we'll examine that more thoroughly right after this break. Please stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. It's still Flipside on Independent Television, and this right here is the final lap of the show. Now, let's take a look at the incessant disruptions of the academic calendar, occasioned by situations such as strikes, demonstrations, and the rest of them. Okay, so what do you think? What strategies do you think the system, the university system, can put in place to mitigate against such unfortunate occurrences? Favor.
I don't think there's much the universities can do, because they are the ones clamoring.
Okay, so they are more like the victims.
They are the victims.
Okay.
So let those in charge, the government that are supposed to be responsible, do what they need to do. All they ask for is fund us more efficiently, fund us more properly. So,
but do you think the university or the ivory tower can be funded enough? Can ever be funded enough?
Yes.
Because, this issue of clamors for adequate funding and the rest of them seems not to be coming to an end anytime soon.
Because it's deliberate. Because it's deliberate. Like I said, we are a state pretending to be asleep. And so, like I said a while ago, every single thing you see in the society is a reflection of the schools.
Okay.
So if the system wants it to work, if the country wants to work, the schools has to work. So when the schools work, it will reflect in the general society. And like I said, it's deliberate. If we have people who can think for themselves properly available today, do you think there will be more vices? If we have people who can critically analyze the situation and make better decisions, do you think we'll have issues that we expand and magnify on every day? No. That's why you see the system is made to not work, because when it's time for elections, there needs to be tools to be used. So as a farmer, when it's time to work and you don't have your tools available, what would you do? You'll not be happy. What happens to your farm? Now the tools here are the people, the so-called graduates who are actually not graduates.
The personnel
from these schools.
Okay.
How do you explain a situation where a scientist, so to speak, has graduated, and that scientist doesn't even know what science actually even means? But let me expand it more for you. A mechanical engineer still takes his vehicle to a mechanic at the roadside and is still asking, "What is spoil for my motor?"
So what happened to his own expertise?
5 years, then additional 1 year for NYSC and some other few practical years and IT and the rest. Then there's a point where you have to do coring and all of those things, and you are still taking your vehicle. Just small troubleshooting. You can't even do that. I'm not saying overhaul the engine, just troubleshoot. And then you see this happening.
At least to identify the problems.
We have a system that has trained a lot of therapists, social workers here and there, yet people still find themselves in church seeking for help.
You see this rope you are trying to draw, my brother. You have to.
It's a rope of reality.
No, because for me, I feel that the government have a lot of role to play. Our educational system actually, they are not properly funded. They're underfunded.
Okay. So
and when it comes to research,
you guys are on the same page.
When it comes to research, how much are they actually earmarking for research? There are some research grants when it comes to Western, when you see somebody, just an individual, getting over $1 million grant for research from an institution. You see people having hundreds of thousands of dollars grants. How much are we giving for grants? For research as grants in this.
But what have they also done with the little that?
Hold on, sir. You know, research is very expensive.
All right, guys.
He was faithful over little, will be faithful over.
Now, for the sake of time, okay, I think we're actually pressed for time right now. So, as we begin to wrap up, what are your final words as regards the steps that can be taken to make our ivory tower more worthy of its name, so to speak?
I think some of the things that need to be done is that we of course, our institutions are open to collaboration, but I feel they need to be open more collaborations. Then I feel it's also time that they need to keep doing training and retraining.
Okay.
And they also need to partner. Because you cannot do everything on your own. You need to also partner with institutions that have similar visions with like yours for exchange programs, so that your lecturers can also go there and see what it is to have this experience. And when they've been able to go there, of course, their orientation will over time will change. And they'll be bringing whatever they've been able to see back to home. And
thank you so much. A favor in less than 30 seconds. Thank you.
I feel employment should not be based on hunger.
Okay.
A lot of persons are employed because they are hungry, they need a job. Let me just...
You seem to be really passionate about this hunger thing.
Yes, because it's true, everybody's hungry. I'm hungry. So when we start recruiting based on merit and standard and excellence, competence, then we can start the direction to where we want to go. For now we are lost.
Thank you so much. I hope we find ourselves, okay, because we can't afford to stay lost. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for doing me the honor of being on the show with me today. We've been taking a look at upholding academic and moral standards in our ivory tower. And of course, I've had two amazing gentlemen, Favor Sadzi and Ebere Chukwu, doing justice to this discourse with me. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, the show has been Flipside on Independent Television. I want to say a big thank you to you out there for making it possible for us to do this once again. Well, the higher institution, or the ivory tower, is a very prestigious institution, and you know, what we put into it is what it will produce. Okay, so it is not just the responsibility of the the system or the lecturers. It is also the responsibility of the government of the day to ensure that it's up to its right standard. That way, it can keep bringing out the right personnel that will lead the society to El Dorado. Well, once again, a big thank you to you guys for being on the show with me. My name is Harry Igboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
Omo noba nedo ukwa kolopolo.
Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Soton rite of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ipoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortal Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II. Thereafter, the priest assigned to the Immortal Shrine offered Oba Ewai II items for Isoton on behalf of his family. However, chalk, known as Uri, represented a mixture from royal fans after ancestral spirits were invoked to bear witness and announce his arrival. On his way home, Oba Ewai paid tributes at various pilgrimage sites, including Queen Idia Tomb, beside Oba Market, where a cheerful crowd of traders abandoned their wares to catch a glimpse of the royal personage and join in the celebration.
ITV certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Ugeni Madonna, Imazedion, Overo, obviously Agbo, Manazo, or Ugeni Madonna.
You will have to serve the community for 30 years before you come to this stage. They will ordain you ordain title. Then by then you are one of the elder.
This year now, we don't read the year, so that's why we can do this year.
Historically, joining the Elders' Council, an individual must have reached a certain age and must have made significant contributions to the community through leadership, service, or other meaningful ways. There was jubilation in the community as sons and daughters of Okada, both at home and in the diaspora, trooped out to be part of the ceremony with various homes of the initiates agog with festivities. Friends and well-wishers of those initiated into the Elders' Council jubilated at the Ogwedion after performing all traditional rites. The elders, known as Edion, in company with their loved ones, danced to their various homes where guests and family members were entertained.
ITV
ITV, certainly the best.